Hola, welcome to my channel, Clear Vision. My name's Simon. I'm a psychotherapist and I specialize in helping people navigate complex relationships and personal growth. Today, I'm going to talk about a crucial topic, the 7 stages of detoxing from a narcissistic relationship. Understanding these stages is essential for your healing journey and for your personal growth. So let's dive straight in. So the first stage is disbelief. This is the initial shock and denial you experience when you realize the true nature of the relationship. It's really common to feel confused and disorientated. You might think, how could this person I loved and trusted be so different from what I believed? In this stage, it's important to give yourself permission to feel your emotions without judgment. Grounding techniques can be helpful here. Try some deep breathing exercises, journaling your thoughts, or talking to a trusted friend, and start processing your feelings. The next stage that you may experience is the replaying stage. This is when you find yourself repeatedly thinking about past interactions and events, trying to make sense of what has happened, and it's driven by this need to understand and analyze the relationship. During this stage, you may well replay arguments in your head. You're going to wonder what you could have done differently. And again, to cope with this, set aside specific times to reflect. This isn't a constant narrative running around in your head. It's not going to become overwhelming. It's not going to take over your life. It can, because we often start to build a fantasy around the reality of someone, around the relationships. So it's like, okay, first of all, you're being manipulated if you're with a narcissist. You're going to be confused. You're going to be gaslit. You're going to mistrust your own feelings, your own perception of reality. And you're going to then start building up a fantasy around this person. Often it's the fantasy that you grieve, but this is where we start to ruminate and go round and round on stuff because it doesn't match up. There's this cognitive dissonance there, and I'm going to do a video on cognitive dissonance. As I was about to say, mindfulness practices can also help you stay present and reduce the constant replaying of events. Have yourself a virtual drawer and a notepad or whatever, and say, give it 20 minutes, give it half an hour, whatever you need to do, and begin to reduce the time where you're actually thinking about this stuff and trying to process it and trying to fathom it, because chances are you're never going to actually find the answer. Or if you do find the answer, it's not going to be the one you want. That you fell in love with a narcissist, you were manipulated, you were at the receiving end of some really nasty techniques in order to reduce your self-esteem, etc., etc. You know, these are quite hard truths to actually be able to accept, and our brain just doesn't want to do it. We just don't want to do it. So again, give yourself time on this, give yourself time limits as well for processing this stuff. The third stage is that of self-doubt. After experiencing narcissistic abuse, it's really common to question your own judgment and worth, because narcissists will manipulate their partners into doubting themselves. You may well feel insecure, guilty, and you are going to question your reality, thinking, am I overreacting to all of this? Is this all my fault? And if you've left them as well, if you've decided to leave, you know, you're going to question, was that the right decision? Are they really what I made them out to be? You know, am I seeing reality for what it is? Is this all my fault? It's crucial to affirm your experiences and feelings. Seek validation from supportive friends. Seek that objective viewpoint from friends, family, or even a therapist to help rebuild your confidence. The fourth stage is going to be anger. They don't necessarily happen in this order. Sometimes they can cycle around. But this anger, this emotion, plays a significant role in the healing process because it stems from the perceived injustice and the betrayal. So as you're beginning to realize what it actually was, you become angry. And this can range from mild irritation to very intense rage. You may well feel angry at your partner or your ex-partner for their behavior and at yourself for not seeing the signs earlier. And often people do that one. I get that one in my in the office quite a lot. I didn't see it, and people start beating themselves up about it. Why didn't I see it? I'm an intelligent person. I should have seen it. My friends told me this, and this. And it's like, you were in it. They weren't. I wasn't as your therapist. We weren't there. We weren't on the receiving end of that. We're not emotionally connected. When you're emotionally invested in someone, when you're spending time with someone, it's very hard to see the wood for the trees. You have to forgive yourself for it. Act with some self-compassion, because actually you haven't been receiving a lot of compassion during that relationship. You've not been giving yourself self-compassion. So you need to start doing it, and here is a good place to do it. Healthy ways to express and process anger include physical exercise and creative outlets as well. Creative outlets are wonderful for expression of emotions, both sadness, joy, anger, all the rest of it. Or speak with a therapist. Try to avoid destructive behaviours, such as taking it out on other people, inanimate objects, smashing up your own place, things like that, self-harm, withdrawing from society, stuff like that. And so try to focus on these more constructive outlets for your anger and your rage. Don't try and hide away from your anger and your rage. It's a part of the human condition to be able to experience anger. Don't deny yourself that anger. It's a release. And anger covers hurt. So when we're hurt, when we're feeling vulnerable, we come out angry, or sometimes we come out with anger. And also when there's a perceived injustice, because it hurts. If someone's unjustly treated us in a certain way, we didn't deserve it. So we come forward with this anger. Allow it its voice, otherwise it's going to destroy you from the inside out. That was a bit poetic, wasn't it? But maybe a bit melodramatic. But it can, anger and any suppressed emotion is going to cause headaches, migraines, sickness, poor concentration, skin rashes, things like that. It can do all of that. So give your emotions a voice, give them an outlet. The fifth stage is research. During this stage, it's a good idea to try to understand narcissism. Check out videos on YouTube like this, read books about it, watch seminars about it, to understand your experiences more deeply. It's going to help you with self-compassion. And it's going to help you understand how you got to this point. It may well be driven by a need for answers and validation. So like I say, joining support groups, watching stuff on YouTube, buying a course on it, reading a book on it. It's really important to use credible sources, especially if you're going on the internet. There's a ton of people who claim they know a lot of stuff. Just be careful with the sources. But you use them to help educate yourself, and then balance your research with some self-care to avoid this kind of information overload. But also it's kind of like a reality check. It's like, oh, I can understand how I got here. I can understand why I didn't see the signs. I see how the manipulation works. I see how this is very, very difficult to navigate through and come out the other side, especially if you have no knowledge of such things and no education about such things. So like narcissists, it's very, very difficult. You may also find out some stuff about yourself. Perhaps you were a little bit vulnerable because you don't like being alone, and you couldn't leave when you should have left, when you knew you should have left. Or you don't trust your intuition, or you were manipulated to a point where your intuition, you're no longer trusting it. You're no longer trusting reality. Again, it's all part of the manipulation. The sixth stage is about acceptance. This is generally when we're coming to terms with the reality of the situation and acknowledging the past. And you may start to see the relationship more clearly and accept that it was unhealthy. Practicing this self-compassion and reframing negative thoughts can actually foster acceptance. Engage in activities that reinforce self-worth and personal growth, such as journaling or therapy, and your hobbies and your social circles, and engaging with family. You may well have been isolated in the relationship. Connect back with your network, connect back with the world. And this kind of leads into the final stage, which is healing, which is an ongoing process of recovery and personal development. And healing involves self-care, therapy, building new healthy relationships, learning what your boundaries are, writing them down. You may well notice milestones like feeling more at peace, developing new interests, and rebuilding your self-esteem. And activities that promote healing, like I said, include therapy, support groups, self-care routines, going out in nature, doing your hobbies, socializing, and celebrate your progress. We don't do this enough. We don't acknowledge our achievements. We don't acknowledge our progress, how far we've come. This is where I was at last year. And now look at me now. I'm leading a healthier life. I've moved forward. I'm better in my job. I interact better with my friends. I trust my instincts more. I'm no longer self-doubting so much. And this is all part of that journey towards your well-being. So just to quickly go back over it, these are the 7 stages for detoxing from a narcissistic relationship. It can be any relationship really, but specifically that. Disbelief, replaying, self-doubt, anger, research, acceptance, and healing are all part of that journey in getting you from that position when you left or when you were discarded to the position where you are leading a healthy life and have a healthy relationship, first and foremost, with yourself. And remember that healing is a personal journey and a very non-linear journey. So seeking professional help is always a good option. I hope you really found this video helpful. As always, it is quite a brief overview. Well, there's some gems in there, hopefully, and you took something from it. Please feel free to share your experiences or questions in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with others who may well benefit. And I also have additional resources and related videos available on my channel. So thank you very much for watching. And as always, until I see you next time, please take very good care of yourselves. Adios.